Hey ladies, Amy here. Just like no two fingerprints are the same, neither are any two men. I've taken the time to break down each stereotype and explain the pros, cons, and things to consider when dating each kind of man. That said, it's important to keep in mind that your man can be a combo of any number of these things. For instance, he could be an artistic, intelligent nerd or a romantic party boy. Also remember that not all these traits are necessarily true for each type. One size doesn't fit all, so you may be dating a man's man who isn't a huge sports fan or a bad boy who doesn't resist commitment. Anyways, to give you a better idea of each type of man, I'll break it down further. The first type of guy is Mr. Romantic. He's the Jerry Maguire type, the kind of guy who bursts out phrases like, "You complete me." He may pull it off, or he may come across as incredibly cheesy. It kind of depends on what you're into. These kind of guys are sensitive of your feelings and careful with their words. They think before they act, and they'll put hours of thought into how they'll show up at your door, what kind of cologne they wear. If you're looking for a man to take care of you, then this could be him. At the same time, you may find his romantic view suffocating, especially when you just want to let it all out. Keep in mind that if he's used to using his charm, then you may not be the only one getting to hear it. On the other end of the spectrum, macho man is your rockier Mr. T kind of guy. He's super masculine, afraid of nothing, and has a huge ego when it comes to thinking that women want him. He loves masculine things like cigars and steaks, and he doesn't take shit from no one. A bonus to dating this kind of guy is that everything will always run smoothly. So after spending a few hours with them, you'll feel mellow and carefree. When it comes to sex, macho men always bring their A game, and there's nothing he won't try. They'll choose actions over words, and if you love the idea of a personal bodyguard, then you've met your match. Keep in mind though, that macho men don't fall in love easy, and you may be fighting to keep your place with him. Next on the list is the party boy, and who better to compare than Steve-O or Charlie Sheen. These kind of guys are the life of the party, know loads of people, and are always up for a night out. They're the rock stars of beer funnels and VIPs at most clubs. Since you're so used to being sociable, you won't have to worry about forcing conversations, but at the same time, you may have a hard time getting him to really open up to you. Also, since they're used to such an exciting lifestyle, you may have a hard time getting him to commit to anything serious. If you're the jealous type, then you may not be able to handle all the women surrounding him. You'd have to be spontaneous to make this one work, because a structured relationship isn't their style. Then there's the exotic guy. Think Fez from that 70s show or Antonio Banderas. These kind of guys have sexy accents, exotic looks, and a unique way of seeing the world. Their social customs and way of doing things are charming, and they're perfect if you're interested in getting a worldly perspective on dating. If you've seen any romantic foreign films, then you'll have an idea of what I'm talking about. The kisses on the hand or the cultural courting traditions, it's actually adorable. That said, language barriers can be tough with exotic guys, and there is the possibility of you finding their behaviors weird. All that aside though, if you want to start something serious with an exotic guy, consider talking about their visa status before you get in too deep. You don't want to feel obligated to marry the guy just to keep him around. Now we get to the nerd, and who doesn't love someone like Michael Cera or Jason Segel? These kind of guys are awkwardly adorable and super quirky. They can be shy around the ladies and aren't always the smoothest of talkers, but still, they're charming. If you're looking for a geeky guy for your little weirdo heart, then this may be him. An extra bonus is that he'll be able to do things like set up your surround sound or debug your laptop. And if you're into the same sort of nerdy things, then you'll have someone to talk to about the Marvel Universe or to play World of Warcraft with. Since nerds aren't exactly known for being ladies' men, he may not have a lot of experience between the sheets, but you can bet that he'll be quick to learn and eager to please. Also, he'll listen when you tell him that his sweater vest gotta go. Otherwise, it's what you see is what you get from these guys. Next is the dreaded control freak. And since these kind of men are hard to pinpoint, think the character Christian Grey from 50 Shades of Grey. The trouble with control freaks is that they're incredibly charming when you first meet them, so their controlling behavior goes unnoticed. They'll be the ones to plan your dates, pay the bills, then slowly but surely you'll notice his alpha male personality isn't what you think. He'll try to decide what's best for you, and he may tell you how to dress or act. It can be tricky not to fall for his confidence, but if he starts putting down your friends, family, or interests, then it's time to get out. So many women think they'll never fall for one of these jerks, but you'll be surprised how cunning they can be. If you're the kind of lady who appreciates being looked after, then you may enjoy dating a control freak. On the other hand, if you're the independent woman, this kind of guy will probably drive you crazy. Either way, know when to walk away. Now the Peter Pan man, the boy who never grew up. You see these kind of guys in college movies and comedy shows. They're not serious about anything except playing video games and Friday night drinks, which is why they need a woman who will mother them along the way. These guys are childish, so even if you are in a relationship, which may be a challenge in itself, he'll continue to flirt with and befriend other women. What's worse is they're commitment phobes, so it can be a risky situation. Peter Pan men don't have weekly plans, yet alone a 5-year one. That said, they're a lot of fun, so if you can't stand the serious type, then you may get a kick out of dating a Peter Pan man. Don't try to put any responsibility on him though. It's not his thing, and nothing is ever his fault. Now we reach Mr. Intelligent. Think Brad Pitt or George Clooney, if you will. It doesn't matter how good looking these guys are, they'll sweep you off your feet using their brain. He's brilliant, laid back, and focused, and he knows how to instigate intellectual conversations. That said, even though he listens attentively to you, he can forget to take turns in a conversation. But if you'd like someone to keep your brain juices flowing, then this is the kind of man you're looking for. Even just being around this kind of man can make you feel smarter, but if you're not one for thoughtful conversations, then you may find yourself frustrated. On to the artistic guy, the moody painter, sappy songwriter, other aspiring artists. These kind of men are always bursting with creativity, whether it's in their music, their writing, their art, or even their acting roles. They have crazy sex appeal, love attention, and know how to work the crowd. He's vocal, honest, and upfront. Sounds perfect, right? Sadly, his daydreaming can be hard to deal with. His work schedule is based on when inspiration strikes, and he may very well be a starving artist, meaning broke. Since he's going to have to sell himself and work to buyers, if you have trust issues or the jealous type, then you shouldn't date this kind of man. Then there's the bad boy, every woman's dream. Think Tom Hardy or Jax from Sons of Anarchy. These guys seem so dreamy because they don't play by the rules. They're bold, tough, and sexy as hell. Dating one of these rebels will make you feel wild and free. Not to mention safe, because there's no way he's gonna let anyone mess with you. On the downside, they're known for being angry and becoming resistant to commitment. If you hook up with one of these guys, you should be ready for no rules, labels, or strings attached. No matter what you do, don't get into a relationship with a bad boy thinking you can change him. You can't. Oh, the damaged man. The kind of guy most women mistake for being sensitive or open to their feelings, only to later find out that he's in fact a broken mess. These kind of guys can seem distant, but they wear their hearts on their sleeve. They're open about how they've been hurt before, but they do have some trust issues. Some of them are afraid of rejection, but that doesn't mean that they can't love again. The key is to take things slowly with the damaged man. And remember, as much as you may see this man as a sad, stray puppy that needs rescuing, he's not. If you're the compassionate type, then you may naturally be drawn to this kind of guy. Don't be fooled by their label. The underachievers are much smarter than you may think. That said, they don't have the motivation to put their smarts to use. A good example would be Bart Simpson. Underachievers lack ambition, but are easily satisfied with where they're at, even if that's their parents' basement. They have few worries, but no aspirations. If you're looking for a simple, uncomplicated life, this is your kind of guy. That said, if your man isn't interested in doing things or going places, then you may get bored in the relationship. Not to mention that if he's content with working a minimum wage job, then your dates may consist of pizza pockets and Netflix. If you're an overachiever, then this is a match made in hell. The shy guy. Think Ben Stiller in the movie The Secret Life of Walter Mitty or Steve Carell in 40-Year-Old Virgin. These guys aren't always visible on the dating scene because they'd rather not be in the spotlight. Still, they're out there. These guys are soft-spoken and get nervous easily. Unfortunately for them, it's easy to mistake them for stalkers when they're treading up closely behind, building up the courage to talk to you. Once he does open up, shy guys can be wonderfully romantic, and they'll take their time with you because they're nervous. Also, since he's less experienced with flirting and picking up women, you won't have to worry about him messing around on you. If you are the impatient kind, then shy guys' slow and cautious approach may drive you crazy. Next up is the pretty boy. You know the type. They have swooning good looks. Think David Beckham or Orlando Bloom. But just because he looks good doesn't mean he's a complete package. In fact, pretty boys are known for being high maintenance. Since he's used to having all eyes on him, he wants a queen who isn't insecure about the attention he's getting. If you're into checking out the hottest new restaurants and clubs, then the pretty boy will be happy to join you. Just make sure you have the self-confidence it takes to date one of these eye candies. Last, but certainly not least, we have the man's man, the typical guy, the Frank Sinatra, if you will. He's well-groomed, well-dressed, and well-educated. He likes to know what's going on in the world, but more importantly, how his sports teams are doing. He's polite, will swear when he needs to, but knows how to keep his temper in check. He can handle his liquor, loves his meat, and keeps himself in shape. Most importantly, he will admit his faults and errors, because that's what real men do. Since the man's man loves getting his hands dirty, you can count on him to be your personal handyman. But You have to be sure to voice your appreciation. He thrives on it. He's a homebody at heart, so in order for a relationship to survive, it's important that you give him space to do his own thing. That's all for this video. Keep reading ahead, and I'll see you soon.